Hello, I'm Doug Wegman, along with Carl Brown and Mary Williams, representing the Oley Valley Heritage Association. It is Friday, February 15th, 2019, and we are here to interview Geraldine A Houp on her thoughts and memories of the Oley Valley. Okay, now you can start. Whatever's on your mind.
There were 7 of us in the family, 7 children. And we were a poor family, as poor families were at that time. But my father was very talented. He was a carpenter, he was a butcher, he was a farmer, and he was a good father. And I started school at the age of 6, like most of us did at that time. But prior to that, our siblings were allowed to bring us to school for a day or two so that we would know what school was about. So I remember going to school with one of my sisters. And then I started first grade, loved school. And I don't know what else to tell you about. We had different teachers in school. The one teacher lived with the Fishers, who were close by. They lived if they didn't have their own homes, they lived with families. And we had a few visiting teachers. A music teacher was visiting. We learned a lot in this one-room schoolhouse. We learned our own lessons, but we could listen to the other classes being taught. And students really learned a whole lot from those classes together. We had to walk to a nearby place to pick up water for the school. There was a place at Oley Turnpike Road and Covered Bridge Road. Sam Stapleton lived there. We got our water from there. We had a stove in the middle of our one-room schoolhouse, which a teacher tended. We had our morning meditation services, I guess you call them. We sang, we always had a prayer, and sometimes Bible readings. But it was a good start for the day.
May I ask you 2 questions? Do you know the name of the school?
Kiefer School.
The Kiefer School. And I think maybe you should tell us what year you started school.
What?
The year you started first grade. Was it 1924?
Must have been. It must have been 1924.
Because you were born in 1918, I believe.
It must have been.
So you're 100 years old. That's very good.
If I live till June, I'm going to be 101. I would never have thought I'd be this old.
All right. And you walked to school?
We walked to school.
Even in blizzards? Or did they ever cancel school?
Oh, when the snows were too bad, yes. But not for hot weather or anything like that. I remember one incident which, goodness, you wouldn't dare happen today. We were walking home from school, and a man stopped and he said, "Are you Charlie Houp's kids?" We said, "Yes." He said, "Get in the car, I'll take you home."
Yeah, you won't do that today anymore.
No.
And our parents didn't think anything of it.
No, you didn't have to worry back then.
No. We didn't get to town very much, well, hardly ever. My mother and father did the chores they needed to do. And once in a while, one of us went with them to town, at the most two.
Did you get most of your supplies from Oley then, or from Spangsville? Or?
Spangsville, we
Okay.
walked to Spangsville to pick up a lot of our supplies, whatever they had there.
Okay.
Across the swinging bridge, if you
Okay.
remember the swinging
Yeah.
bridge.
Yeah, that's right at the homestead, right?
Yes, yes. And they had most everything in that store there, so. But other supplies, there was a sale at Yellow House. Do you remember the sales at Yellow House?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do,
Do you?
yes, I
And
do.
every week
Every Thursday. I
we
do.
went down there, so you picked up a lot of things there.
Roy Hetrick told us that was his social event of the week when he went to Yellow House.
What?
So Roy Hetrick did an interview with us and told us that was that was the highlight of the week when they went to Yellow
It
House.
was a big sale.
Yeah. But that was the social center. So
Now, what did you do for entertainment? Did you go to dances and stuff like that?
No. As kids, there were a lot of kids in the neighborhood. The Wilmans and Reppers, Brumbox next door. And we got together and played. However, when we got to be teenagers and my oldest sister, when she started dating, she'd take one or two of us with her on a date.
Okay.
That doesn't happen today.
That doesn't happen today. But then we went to places like Locust Grove, they had dances down there. But we didn't. I was a friend with Mary Fisher. We had John Fisher's family. Mary and I were buddies. And Mary's brother and sister were so much older than Mary. So when Mary went someplace, they'd take me with them for company. So John and Berta Fisher were musicians, and they went to Reading to do a lot of music things. And they'd take Mary and me, and Mary would have money for us to go to the movies. So I was privileged in addition to, in comparison with my family, I got to see movies.
And after 8th grade, did you go to the high school?
After 6th grade,
After 6th grade, and you went to Oley
to the
Valley?
Consolidated High School in Oley.
Okay,
That brand new building.
the brand new building. Oh, were you one of the first classes?
I'm
attend.
not sure about that.
28, I believe it was.
I don't remember.
I do know it was a beautiful building to us.
And you had different teachers then, or still only one teacher? You had different teachers?
Oh, we had different teachers.
You did.
I
Any special?
shouldn't say so many different teachers. We had a homeroom teacher, but we had physics and sciences that they didn't teach.
Now, did you ever go on vacations anywhere? You never got out of the valley when you were young?
Well, we thought we did. We went to Carsonia Bar.
Okay.
We did things. But we didn't go to Atlantic City or any place like that.
Now, did you go there on a horse and buggy or in cars then and everything?
Trolley.
We had a car.
You had a car, okay.
I remember when I was small, we did have a horse and buggy, however. And sometimes we'd go to my grandmother's in the horse and buggy. Yes,
that went by Ruth and Lawrence's
Yes.
place.
yes.
Did you ever have a ride on that?
I'm not sure. I know when I went to nursing school, they still had the trolley in Reading. And I know I rode on that, so I can't remember, distinguish between that and the country
Okay.
trolley.
What was the first electric appliance you had at home?
Or did you have electric as a child?
We did not have electric, such what we had a generator before the electric line came through.
Okay,
My father was a forward-thinking man. He died too young with all his talents. But we had a generator. So we had it, but I can't remember the first appliance we had.
okay.
Did you have a refrigerator?
Not until later.
Okay.
I don't think we had a refrigerator until the 1940s, really.
Okay, now did hucksters come around to sell
They
stuff?
did.
Okay,
A fish man came around, and a man came around to pick up our eggs for sale. The baker, the butcher.
okay, and did they come once a week or every other week?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Now, did your father farm with mostly horses, or did he have a tractor then?
No,
All horses? And did he have horses or did he have mules?
no, I had horses.
Okay,
And we all worked on the farm, what we could do. But my father made, when he could, he made work fun.
okay,
So that we may not have liked it especially, but we certainly had it more enjoyable.
Jerry, today, you know, people go to their automatic washer any time. Did you have like a wash day and maybe a day you cleaned and a day you baked? Or did you do that whenever it was
We
needed?
had a washer that worked on the generator,
Oh,
but it had to crank
The ringer.
you had
the
a crank
ringer. And we had a well for rainwater, and it's still there, and they still use the water from it. We used the rainwater
washing.
for hot water for the laundry. We had the big black kettles.
You heated your water in the kettle. You heated water for laundry in a kettle.
In the kettles.
Yes.
do you want to tell us about the tornado?
And that was in 1927. It was, we had a thunderstorm. And it was at supper time. My father, mother, and the two older sisters were in the barn milking. And my sister Regina and I were doing dishes. And all of a sudden, the doors flew open inside, not the outside ones. And it came so quickly. And my Aunt Clara was living with us then. And she opened the door and looked, she didn't see anything wrong. And by that time my father was in there to be sure everybody was okay. But it had blown the porch off the back of the house. And he opened the door and he said, the roof's gone. And it was raining. I I don't know how he got in from the barn, because there were a couple of trees that had blown down in the yard. He had to get through that. And how they decided who was going to go where, I don't know. But that night, most of it, I guess a few people went with Aunt Sally. But the rest of us were sleeping on the floor or on the couch at the broom box. Now, broom box, you probably heard his story too. They had just had a new baby, and Flores was still in bed. Earl was coming back from work, and he didn't know that the iron bridge had blown down. And he'd just been, but there's a lot of water in the creek then, so he was able to get out.
So he drove right into the creek?
Yes.
Well, he went right down into the,
Yeah.
Yes.
fortunately, I guess he wasn't hurt, I don't know.
Now, did it do any other damage besides your house and the bridge?
I think it took a little bit of the roof from the mill, Fisher's Mill.
Okay.
But Hunter's schoolhouse went that time. That was blown down.
Okay.
And I don't remember what else.
Okay, and what time of day was it?
I would say it was like maybe around 6 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
It was in the evening.
How long did it take your father to have your house repaired? To have the house fixed, that you could all be together again?
Well, I think we were home. I think we were home for Christmas.
Oh, okay.
My father, Albert Brumbach was a carpenter also. And he and my father worked well together, but there were other people who helped. And they had the house repaired before too long. That just took the roof and half of the floor off.
Yeah, we have pictures of it.
I
Yeah.
know you.
Yeah.
I thought really you must have.
Yeah. What was your first job
My first job.
besides the farm?
The first job I got paid for. There was a man who had a currant field. And we picked currants for 5 cents a box.
A quart box?
A quart box. You know how little currants.
I know what they are.
That was my first money that I did earn. And then we were a family of girls, so that when somebody needed some help, they would come and see if one of us could come help them. And I went with a family down in Boyertown. It was the man of the house had a business. And anyway, the lady was alone. But I did the house cleaning and light cooking under her supervision. They would pick me up on a Sunday evening and bring me home on Friday evening. But I did that for $5 a week for quite a long time.
Was that summertime?
That was summertime.
Summertime you did that.
And then one time I also took care of some children for a family. And I raised enough money, I offered to give it to my mother. And she said, you save your money. And I did, and I got enough money together to pay $300 for nursing school.
And how many years? How many years did you go to nursing school?
3.
3 years. And for $300?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's more now.
Oh, yes.
And you went to Reading?
I went to Reading.
Yeah.
And after I graduated from Reading, I went to Washington. I went to St. Elizabeth's Hospital, which is a mental hospital in Washington, for 3 months. It's a psychiatric place. And I decided I didn't want to do that, so I went over to George Washington University Hospital in Washington, where I worked for 2 years before I went in the Navy.
All right, do you want to tell us about that? Going into the Navy, what made you decide to do that?
Well, it was wartime, everybody. And when we were student nurses, we were encouraged to write about an organization, a military organization. I really chose to write about the Army, but decided I wanted to go in the Navy if I went.
And how long were you in the Navy then?
27 and a half years.
Do you want to tell us some of the places you worked when you were in the Navy?
Well, I went in Bethesda, and Bethesda Naval Hospital was a brand new hospital when I went there. And I went to Panama. And I worked at St. Albans in New York 3 different times. At the end of my career, I retired from there. It wasn't one of my favorite stations, but I happened to be there 3 times. Mostly I was down in Virginia, I was in Jacksonville, Florida, Bremerton, Washington, Panama, Guam, Hawaii, and I spent 2 years in Japan.
Well, so you really got around then. Yeah, that's good. On the Navy's bill.
Right.
Of the countries that you worked in, did you have a favorite? You said Panama and Japan and Guam.
Hawaii.
Hawaii. Well, Hawaii is the state.
Well, Hawaii is lovely, but I'll tell you, it's interesting in Japan.
Yes,
Oh,
we're doing an interview in here.
I was just gonna offer to get her mail.
Oh, okay,
Um,
I'll check. Wants to know if he can get your mail.
I'll give him that red bag there, please. And Don, my keys are on the back of the door.
Okay.
Yeah, right there. I don't know where the bag is. That's it,
There
thank
go.
you.
Oops, here, you need the
What
keys.
do I need the keys to?
okay, now, what did your brother Lawrence liked to play baseball. What did you girls like to do?
We played softball on Sunday afternoon. We had friends from Reading who came almost every week after my father died. And we played softball, go swimming down, went swimming down the creek and the dam. The dam was clean and nice to swim in.
And if you got sick, where did you go to the doctor?
Oley,
Oley.
old Dr. Herzog.
Okay.
And sometimes he came out to the house.
Okay. He made house calls then
Yes, he
too.
did.
And did he deliver children then, babies, also, or did they do that at home?
I don't remember when he did. They didn't go to the hospital. None of our people went to the hospital.
No.
And I don't remember with Dr. Herzog. I'm sure he must have delivered the babies.
Okay. Did you ever order things from the Sears catalog and stuff like that? Or,
We loved looking at it.
okay,
Very seldom did we order anything from it.
okay.
Your clothing you bought at Spangsville at the store?
They had almost everything. They had lovely fabrics. There's a lady by the name of Carrie Klein in Spangsville who was a seamstress. She was a beautiful seamstress. And when we could afford it, sometimes my mother had dresses made for her.
Do you remember anything of the Depression and how it affected your family? Or, I mean, you were farming and you sort of had your food and things. But the Depression, any memories of that?
Anyway.
Memories of the Depression. How
Well,
it
of course,
affected.
well, we didn't know it was a depression. Everybody was poor. But we had enough to eat. There were people who didn't really have, always had enough to eat. Different kinds of depression foods that we learned to love.
And you say Depression foods. Can you think of any?
Well, we made something. Gebrotener net. Do you understand that?
Not that.
Bread and
Gebrotener net. Fried dumplings.
fried dumplings.
They really weren't dumplings. What you did was you heated the milk and stirred in flour enough until it was thick enough so that you could fry it. Just season it with salt and pepper and butter. And we loved it.
It's very simple to make.
Very simple to make.
And it filled the stomach.
Uh-huh. My sister Catherine made them once in a while. I always liked them.
My mother used to heat milk and toast bread and put it in.
I did not even. We heated the milk.
Yeah, and put it over toast. And then a little butter.
That sounds good too.
I liked it.
Of course, the sad part of our life was when our father died.
Mayo right here.
Thank you.
That was an
Thank
accident.
you, Don.
That was an accident, I believe.
Yes. He had picking cherries and fell to the left. I guess lost the ladder as he fell down the ladder. So after that, we had less. But my mother never complained about us having something. If we didn't have the money, we didn't borrow money or anything like
And how many brothers and sisters did you have then?
that. I had 4 sisters and 2 brothers.
Okay. And you were the oldest?
No, Annie was the oldest.
Okay.
And then there was Catherine, then I was the 3rd.
Okay.
And Lars was the 2nd youngest.
Okay.
How old was the youngest child, sibling, when your father was killed? Were they young yet, your brothers, any of your brothers and sisters, when your father was killed?
Paul was the youngest. He was born in 1928. My father died in 1933.
It's about 4.
No, he was just 4 years old. It's tough. Could never imagine what went through their minds. Either one of them, my father or my mother, the responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah, that was hard.
Do you remember much about the town of Oley when you were there as a student? Did you get out into the town much?
Not really.
Just went and
Went to
studied
school
and
and went home.
went home.
By bus?
Now, Addie was the oldest one, so, and there was a butcher shop, I think she said, in Oakley. And some kind of a store anyway that Mom sometimes sent her to pick up some things
How did you get to school? They had buses?
on a bus. Now, my oldest sister, she walked to school. That's about 5 miles.
Yeah.
Every day?
And she walked up, picked up Myrtle Mathias, and they picked up Mary Putzman. And the 3 of them walked to Oley to school.
That wouldn't happen today either.
No. Today we don't strive to be in school not to miss any days. That was our aim, don't miss a day in school.
I don't really have anything else. Do you?
Now, I'm checking my list, and we spoke about a lot of things on here.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell people what your life is like. If it wasn't plain, ordinary, entertaining life.
Well, do you have anything else you want to tell us before we end the interview?
I can't think of anything. My life's been interesting.
It certainly has.
Yes.
And we never felt deprived when we were kids.
I thought of something I'd like to ask you. There have been a lot of changes in the valley, in Oley Valley, and even in the world, and in everyday living. Is there one thing that you think is the biggest change
The biggest change.
in your life?
It's medicine, I think.
Medicine.
The changes in medicine.
And during the time that you were a
Oh,
nurse.
yes. Penicillin, when
Yes.
it first came out. And the war injuries. You know, we used to keep mothers with babies in bed anywhere from 9 to 14 days. The war injuries came along with open chests or open abdomens. You get them out of bed. And how much better off they were. And that's when we learned to get mothers out of bed also. Medicine had a lot of big changes during World War II.
You know, I would have never thought of that,
Yeah.
but I can understand that.
As kids, we thought it was great when we saw her in an airplane, and we yelled, airplane, airplane,
Yeah.
airplane, ran to shoot the airplane.
Not anymore.
No.
They're all over the place. But there's so many big changes in automotive, electronics and everything.
Yeah.
But I think medicine, as far as people are concerned.
That's very
Yeah.
good insight.
Do you have anything more, Carl?
No, I'm fine.
Well, I personally would like to thank you. I've enjoyed this very much.
It's nice meeting you, Mary, meeting all of you.
Yeah, and this will be on our website or YouTube or something like that, so other people can view it.
If you allow it.
If you allow it, I mean, if you don't want it.
Oh, well, of course. When Diacon came out with paper, one of the girls here said, "Is there anything else that you're going to?" I said, "I don't think so."
You're talking about the article. Did you see that, Doug?
I think so,
I
yeah.
have a copy of
I'm sure you've had some interesting things from different people.
Yeah, we've conducted maybe 8 or 10 interviews so far, yeah. And everybody has a different story,
I'm sure.
but a lot of the same themes, especially with the older people, yeah.